All right, we got the Maxi Trac awning all set up, and I can tell you a couple things that I figured out about this. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are going to mount the Maxi Trac 8-foot awning on the 4Runner. So this is a part from Napa Auto Parts, and it is about $100, so it's definitely on the cheaper end of the awnings. I did not want to spend a lot of money. I've heard good things about it, and it's been out of stock for many, many months. Finally came back in stock last week, and I picked it up. We're gonna mount it today. I'm making two versions of the Maxi Trac awning video. This is the longer step-by-step version with the details. And if you are not interested and just want to see the awning installed and up, then go to the video library, check out the shorter version. Thank you. I have mounted on the 4Runner the Rhino Pioneer rack, and it is a half length. So it's not all the way to the front, which means the awning will overhang that rack by quite a bit. So my concern is when it's all mounted and I'm driving, how stable will it be? I'll show you the way I plan on mounting this. The awning does include two of these brackets, and you can mount them several ways, but my plan is I'm going to use these strut nuts. They'll slide right into the rack, and these are super heavy duty compared to the 1/4 inch, which a lot of people use. This is a stud that I made. It's about 1 inch, and I made it for a different application or different mounting, but for this bracket with this awning, I'm probably going to need about 1.5 inch studs. So let's go to the shop and I'll show you how I make these. And I have a 3-foot length of threaded bolt that we're going to cut to the lengths we want. So I think we are going to go with a 1.5 inch. I think that should be sufficient for this particular mount. I have these semi-rigid inserts in the vice grip, and that protects the threads, and we'll tighten her up. You can get it super tight without doing any damage as well. After the stud is cut, you get that rough edge right there, so we need to do something about that as well. I'm going to run this tool over it, which will chamfer the threads. Here's a close-up of what that tool does. It gives it a nice chamfer, so there's no sharp edges, and it's able to start the bolt a little bit easier. The next thing I do is I flip it over, put it back into the vice grip, put my safety glasses back on, and we're going to put a little groove in the top. And the reason why we do that is when we put that stud into the strut nut, we can take a flathead screwdriver and cinch it down. That creates a little burring as well, so we'll just take a file and we'll do a manual chamfer just where I ground that little groove in. That's it. We have our 1.5 inch stud complete. It has a nice chamfered end and slotted top. So we'll go ahead and make a few more of these, and then we'll go ahead and mount that awning up. I wanted to do a close-up of the mounting system that I'm using, and this will be similar, I think, for most roof racks with the rack that I'm using, which is the Rhino Pioneer rack system or platform rack. I'm using the strut nut here. That's a 3/8, so that's a bit of a heavy-duty size, and then we're using the studs that we just made. So what I do is I put that into the strut nut, just get a few threads going, and then I slide it into the roof rack and into position, and then I take a flathead and I tighten it all the way down when I have it exactly where I want. Then next will go your bracket. So in this case we are mounting the awning, so I'll put the awning bracket on top, and then the roof rack metal will be in between those, and then we clamp them together. I'm using a grade 8 washer, and right now I have a nylon insert nut. You can use a lock washer and a regular nut too. So that roof rack metal will be right in between there, and it'll be all clamped together when you tighten that nut. I hope that helps someone. These are the awning brackets mounted up, and you can see strutting underneath, and then the bracket lays on top. And so we have 2 of them. I think 3 would have been ideal, but we'll see how it fares with the weight with just these 2 brackets. If I have to make another bracket, then I will, but let's go ahead and mount it up. So that's how it looks mounted. You can see how far it sticks out right there on the front side, and the back side, it's pretty even with the quarter panel. And when the tailgate's open, there is a little bit of clearance right there. So that's pretty good. We'll put all the tools away, and then we will open this thing up and see if I can set it up solo. I heard it's quite difficult to do alone. I wanted to give a view from the front side too, so you can see just how far it sticks off of the vehicle. Give you a little perspective there. So it does sit a little bit off. I actually readjusted the brackets from the original install and put it in a little bit. It was actually sticking out too far, so that gives it a little bit more stability. But we'll see when we're driving at high speeds or going over bumpy roads, off-roading, if this thing is going to bounce all around or if it's going to stay stable. All right, we got the Maxi Trac awning all set up, and I can tell you a couple things that I figured out about this. It is not easy to set up by yourself, and I've learned that from other videos. It's not impossible, but you may struggle like I did with setting it up. I did get it finally set up. I did it off camera. It was a little embarrassing, but I suspect that the more I do it, the easier it'll be to set up. Having 2 people, I think, would be ideal. Probably set it up in about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. So it took me about 4 minutes to set up by myself, and I did struggle getting the poles exactly where I wanted. So the poles can adjust in height by just unscrewing them. There are 4 Velcro straps, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which adhere or secure the canvas to the side poles. And the canvas itself, I think is good quality. I don't think it's top notch, but I think this should last maybe 2 years or so in Arizona sun. I'm not going to be out that often in the sun with it, but when I am, I think it should last at least 2 years. It seems to be fairly sturdy. I'm happy with it for the price, which was, I think it was about under $110 with tax. I think it's a great buy. I did drive with it over to this location to set it up, and I didn't notice any issues as far as vibration. I did hear the zippers clanging together a little bit, but that was no big deal. So overall, I would say excellent purchase. I'm happy with it. We'll try it out a few times, make sure it's sturdy as I believe it to be, and then we may revisit for another review. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.